All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the stage of history. It is I, Kevin, Anytime. This is the Mindset Matters channel where we talk about different mindset topics. So if you enjoy mindset, definitely like and subscribe. And if you find value from this video that I'm about to give you, definitely share it with somebody. All right, the topic I got for y'all today is the invisible laws. What are these things? This is just something to peer into. There are particular time periods where you may be going through things in your life and you have different thoughts that you would like to redirect. When that is the case, there are a few things that I recommend to do. One is to dive into something in particular. I've mentioned a multitude of times to dive into somebody's story, because that'll help take the spotlight off of you, right? And look into somebody else's story and see how they maybe overcame challenges or got through tough situations, or um, might be on a similar path as you and found success, right? Those are different things that you could pay attention to. But today I wanted to talk about invisible laws, because this is also something that you can do if you are maybe feeling a little distraught, or you are kind of in a limbo space, or if you just want to look for something different that's encouraging. Invisible laws will trip you all the way out about life itself. And so there's a couple that I wanted to mention right away, right? One is wind, which is like this fascinates me more than anything else, I would say, because what is it? Because what is it? Like, what really is it? Do you really ever think about that? Like, we take so many things for granted, and we don't pay attention to it and peer into it to see like what's really going on, what's behind it, what's the purpose of it. Wind, what is its actual purpose? Have you ever thought about that? Sit there and dissect. Okay, wind, like on a hot day, some wind might give you a breeze to feel cooler, right? Or it might be a windy day and it's blowing your lunch all over the place, right? What is the purpose of it? What is the reason behind it? Wind is a part of the air we breathe, though. So it is absolutely necessary at the same time. So you think about, okay, well, what is this stuff? What is this invisible stuff that we looking at? Or we not even, well, we are looking at it, but we can't see it. It's invisible. And so as it penetrates us and goes through us and we inhale and exhale it, what is that really about? And that, again, can help to direct your thoughts into something in particular, which, I mean, first and foremost, is the miraculous creation of God, right? This whole construct of reality can help you to see, oh, there's a designer behind all of this, because there are laws governing these particulars, right? And so wind happens because of a certain amount of things that work together, and you can't even see it. You can't even see it, but it's absolutely necessary. Now, you can also think about that in your life. There's some things that you might not be able to see that are happening, that are absolutely necessary for your life. And let's dive into it. One is how your blood is circulating through your body all day, all day long, just up and down, just going through your body. Like, what is that? You can't see that. It's absolutely necessary for you to survive, though, right? And then you got your thoughts. You can't see your thoughts. You can't actually see what you're thinking until you put maybe a plan of action, and then you collapse that idea into movement and then you solidify it in a three-dimensional form so you can visibly see what that thought was. But if I'm thinking of a person, you can't see that I'm thinking of an individual right now. Isn't that fascinating? Like, if you really think about it, that's tripped out that there are things like that. So then let's move on to another one, right? First, I talked about wind, which you can totally dive into and be tripped out with all day long. Because what is it? You know, you can only see the effects of things. But then let's go into something a little more scientific. Let's go into magnetism. What is that? Right? There's some type of mineral or metal that you can use to attract another mineral or metal, or it can repel another mineral or metal. But there is some invisible force that either draws it together or keeps this barrier in between it. And you can look clearly at it, but you can try and push it together and there is nothing there, but there is something there. That's completely tripped out. Okay, there's something there, but your physical eyes can't see it. What is that? Again, if you are stuck in yourself, if you're stuck in things aren't working, or this bad day you had maybe weeks ago or a day ago, or you're thinking about all of the different things that you have to do and it's overwhelming for you, or whatever the case may be, it's good to dive into the basics, the foundational properties that we have here on this earth that we use all the time, and we take it totally for granted. Really think about that. Those are two major things. I can overload you with a number of different things, but if you could just start with those, you will really see how fascinating life really is. And when you really study it and really dive into it, it's going to actually teach you different things about your life. Like, you can correlate sometimes windy days or tornadoes or destruction to particular situations in your life, and then metaphorically use it as an example of how you can maybe get through destructive things, or how you can triumph in adverse times, right? If it's a storm and you batten down the hatches and you put all the blocks up, say it's a hurricane which has a lot of wind in it, right? And you have to fortify your house to make sure that it doesn't get blown down, or the wind or the glass doesn't break and stuff like that. These are all things that are already here for us to use, to peer into, to metaphorically illustrate as an example. What is that? But what even is that, though? To help us to understand these things, to help us to understand ourselves and our living experience more. That can really trip you out. And then in turn, what it could do is it can help lessen your stress, lessen your anxiety, and focus in on something that can be beneficial for you, right? So you don't focus so much on the negative, because like I said, you always have to try and focus on the good, because you yourself, you're going to dive into the negative realm more often than you want to. That's just how things go. And so if you can redirect that energy and focus your thoughts on positive things, on how things can be beneficial, that's going to start gearing your mind to automatically do that more often. But you do have to focus on it and continuously work towards it, because we're all going to lapse. There's all going to be we're all going to go through a time period where there are lapses in thought, to where you do think about something negative, or you are a little bit anxious, or you do feel a little dissatisfied, or whatever the case may be, right? You're going to go through those times where that happens. So you need weaponry, you need some type of arsenal to be able to redirect your thinking. You got to redirect it yourself. You have to put in the work to be able to get that negative thought out of you, and it's going to take some work, because we're hardwired with all of the external things that are happening, the TV, the news, the social media. There's a lot of negative and a lot of directed fearful things being projected at you from so many different angles. So you have to be in control to make sure that you're directing your thought process somewhere where it can benefit you, as opposed to making you fearful or making you anxious, right? Because whoever they is, the construct of this reality with all of these things, and the way people respond more to, fear of missing out, and fearful propaganda, or anxiety based thumbnails or captions, or whatever the case may be. They're designing it to do that, because why? Because people are more attracted to negativity, right? It's much more difficult to direct your mind towards something positive when there are storms and different destructive things happening around you, right? It's hard to stay focused on, okay, just focus on the light, focus on the positive things, focus on good things. So what I was saying in the invisible laws, is this is going to help you to direct your thoughts towards positive things. Even if you decide to, again, look inside of yourself, of the things that you can't see, the things that are invisible to our everyday viewing, like breathing and your lungs, right? Or your heart beating, or your brain in complete operation, even as you sleep. These things are physically invisible to us in the projection of our sight, what we wake up to, what we look at all the time. And so you can't say, oh, well, let me look inside my brain and actually look at what it looks like, right? You'd have to look up somebody that got their head cut open by a surgeon, and they're used for science, and then that's the way you're able to see what your brain looks like. Otherwise, it's invisible. It's invisible. And all of the synapses and inner networkings of that, and how you learn, and how you process ideas, all of that is invisible. It's invisible. And that should intrigue you. That's what it should do. It should intrigue you as to what is really going on here. What does that really mean for me? How can I use that to my advantage? Or how can I maybe make these things more visible to me, so that I can focus more on what I'm trying to focus on? Positive things, good things, happiness, right? How can I look at these things and use that to my advantage? So that's all I have for y'all today. That's what I wanted to give you guys, is sometimes I just want to have an open dialogue about certain things that I don't think people think about too often. And one of them is all of the invisible things that are around us that make this whole life what it is. What is it? What does it mean? How can we utilize it? Or how can we learn from it? How can it benefit? And those are some things to think about. All right. So I truly, truly, truly appreciate everybody. Okay. Again, if you enjoyed this video, or if it intrigued you, or if you had some questions, definitely shoot us a comment below. But share this video with somebody if you want to have a discussion about these things. If you are interested in mindset, also like and subscribe. Okay. And then check out all the links below. I have my books available as well, where I have focused thoughts. I talk about a lot of deep things, deep thinking um, topics are inside of that book as well, and you can find that. The link is below in the description. I have my journal here that you can see off to the side. The Magnificent You with 6 pieces of advice, and then you can journal the rest of your goals and things like that. All of the links are down here below, so take a look at all of that stuff that I got going on. All right, appreciate you. Thank you very much. Remember that mindset matters more than anything else. All right. And so that's why I'm giving you this information. It might help you if you're feeling some type of way. Redirect your thoughts into something different that can fascinate you, give you more hope, more inspiration to life. Right. Um, Focus on the good. All right. Focus on the good as much as you can, because the negative is going to be there. All right. So let's try and turn this train around and see if we can push it into more of a positive direction all the time. Right. All right. Love you guys. Have a great rest of the week. Anytime.